Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cincinnati Reds Daily. I'm your host, Greg. Today, we are talking about one name that should absolutely be on the Cincinnati Reds radar this offseason. That name is Jarren Duran. The Reds need hitting, and that is no secret. In 2025, they ranked 17th in batting average, 21st in home runs, 15th in on base percentage, 21st in slugging percentage, and 19th in stolen bases. For a team trying to contend, that is just not good enough. They need somebody who can bring energy, bring speed, and bring consistent production. And Jarren Duran checks all those boxes. Duran is a left-handed hitting outfielder who's spent the last couple of seasons with the Boston Red Sox. He's fast, he's athletic, he plays with an edge, he plays with exciting energy, he's fun to watch. He would fit right into the Reds' young core. Now, what makes Duran really interesting to me is that even when he had a down year, he's still good. Let's walk through his last 3 seasons. In 2023, Jarren Duran played in 102 games. He slashed 295, 346, 482 with 44 extra base hits, and he also had 24 stolen bases. They changed him to the outfield not too long before that, so he was not very good defensively that year, -2 outs above average, but not awful for his first season. That 2023 year showed flashes of what he could become. A top of the order threat who could obviously hit for average, hit for some power, and run. Then came 2024, where he broke out in a big year. I'm not sure if anyone's watched the Inside the Clubhouse series on Netflix. It featured Duran a lot on that show, and it showed what kind of player he became in 2024. He played a full 160 games almost every day. He slashed 285, 342, 492. He posted 83 extra base hits. For a Reds team that has no power, and we want this team to have power, 83 extra base hits would play pretty well in Great American Ballpark. He added 34 stolen bases on that. And get this, he had 11 outs above average on defense. Defense, speed, power, that's what the Cincinnati Reds need. That's elite. And at this point, he had looked like one of the most dynamic outfielders in all of baseball. Now in 2025, he cooled off a bit, but he still produced. He played in 157 games. He hit 256, 332, 442, had 70 extra base hits, 24 stolen bases. And this year he was back down to 2 outs above average. It was interesting. He played a lot of left field this year as opposed to center field, and his left field stats were very, I think it was -5 outs above average in left field, which he's playing in Boston, so you have the Green Monster to work with out there, so that can be a tough left field. I love the versatility that he can play left field. He can play center field. He's a pretty good center fielder. So yeah, a down year for him, and he still has an OPS in the mid 700s. Still has 70 extra base hits. Still steals 24 stolen bases, and still is above average defender. Now let's talk about his splits, because this is where it's a little concerning. Against right-handed pitching in his career, Duran has absolutely raked. 279, 344, 494 slash line. That's a legit top of the order bat. But against lefties, he has struggled. 232, 284, 336. So he's definitely not great against lefties. But you could always platoon a guy like him. I'm not sure if you're trading for him, if you're going to platoon him. But again, that is the one downside for Duran. Financially, so obviously we know the Reds have budget issues. Duran has a club option for $8 million in 2026, and then he becomes arbitration eligible. So he's still not going to be paid a crazy amount. He will fit in the Reds' plans financially. It just makes sense. It just makes sense in so many different ways. He's under club control until 2029, which is, I believe, when Ellie De La Cruz is under club control for. I believe that's when Hunter Green's under club control for. You have all these guys that's part of the young core. Getting Duran and adding Duran into that, he's only 29, like I said, would just be a great, great move. So the Reds have built a deep pitching staff. They have Hunter Green. They have Nick Lodolo. They have Andrew Abbott. They have Rhett Lauder, who didn't even pitch this last year. They have Brady Singer coming back next year. They have all this pitching. We saw it this year. They've had the pitching carried him for most of the year, if not all the year. Now it's time to invest in the offense. Duran brings speed on the bases. He brings gap power. He brings plus defense in the outfield. And he brings electric energy that the fans will love watching, the players will love playing with. He would immediately make this lineup more complete and give Terry Francona another weapon. He's also coming from a winning culture in Boston, a player who knows how to handle the pressure, who's played in big markets. Again, not to mention that Netflix show again, but he's talked about how that pressure, got to him at times. Playing at Cincinnati, he would have none of that. He would have none of that crazy pressure that Boston puts on you. If you can buy low on Jarren Duran after a slightly down 2025 season, you absolutely do it. He's still just entering his prime, and the Reds desperately need a guy who can hit right-handed pitching, who can run, who could bring some pop to the top of the order. If I'm the Reds, I'm making the call, and I'm going to get Jarren Duran. Anyways, if you made it this far, like, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Would you like the Reds to trade for Jarren Duran? Would you like him to go in another direction? Drop your thoughts below. And as always, we appreciate you being here. Go Reds.